Ladies and gentlemen, Raw and Smackdown were on the clock, and I am now on the clock as we are going through the review of the WWE 2020 draft here on a brand new series for the Talks podcast. Enjoy part one, which is all the Friday night picks. Welcome in, everyone. We're here for the WWE draft.
We have a host.
And there's Embers. There's Kimmy trying to block me off and say we've got a host. Come on, Ember.
Okay. If we're going down that route.
Am I going to get so Kimmy getting so am I going to be again, are we?
Again. I'm such a child.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you everyone who is here at the moment. We are going to be starting.
We've got a host. Kimmy, we have a host.
Hey!
So, my co-hosts today, I'm going to introduce them properly now. We've got Ember Cyclone and System Shock, who have just hosted the channel. Welcome in. We do have ChrisCarson as well, as you may have heard. He's currently doing some bits and bobs. He'll be back in when he gets back. I'm going to say, how are you all? How are you two today?
I'm doing good.
You both woke me up.
We've been wide awake for the last god knows how many hours. Yeah, I'm aware. She should be woken up by now. Even on the western side, you should be up.
I got messages from the group chat and from System. I was like, wait. These two are awake. But it's like afternoon for them. I was like,
it's like current time.
Let me wake up.
Hey, and also the travel chief himself of the interactive family, ChrisCarson, has actually joined us back here. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I'd like to say hello to some of the other people, Ember Cyclone and System Shock. I'm not familiar with you guys, but I'd love to get to know you.
Yay!
This is gonna be interesting to say the least. Just so you know, guys, there's who are watching, whether this is on YouTube, 24 hours later, or live on Twitch. There'll be no cams for this podcast for a reason, and the reason is the 2020 WWE draft. Yes, that happened. Over the last. Night 2 was last night, and night 1 was on Friday night. The rules are as follows: the same rules we had last year. Due to there's 60 eligible superstars on each male, female, and tag teams. Every 2 picks Smackdown gets in each round. Raw will get 3, as Smackdown is a 2-hour show and Raw is a 3-hour show. Tag team and stables will count as 1 unless USA and Fox, in conjunction with WWE, want a specific person. Any undrafted superstars will therefore, after the drafts have happened, can freely sign with any team, any brand they wish. Going into this, what did you lot expect to happen?
Who wants to start off first? Huh?
I don't mind who wants to start this off. I literally do not mind who wants to start this off.
So you just want to talk about our expectations, or
yeah, expectations of the draft. Anything you would have thought would be a key moment in the draft, and then we'll get into the proper draft from there.
Okay. I didn't expect the champions to change at all. I thought if the only thing I could see possibly happening was maybe a tag team title merger.
Yeah.
Since of the lack of like current real tag teams and not just put together tag teams.
Yeah, we've had this issue. I'm not interrupting. We've had this issue over the interactive family, like.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what we're on about here, me and Chris. Carry on, Chris. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was maybe the only big change, possibly. That and maybe the women's championship too. Maybe that could have happened, but other than that, I was expecting maybe some tag teams to be broken up. Some solo stars that could potentially feud with top champions. I thought that could happen. wasn't expecting Bianca Belair to get drafted to SmackDown though. It's not.
We'll get into that later on.
That was 4-5. That was some.
That is a spoiler, but we'll get through into that later.
Oh,
but
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
that's what I'm saying. Expectations before we get into it. Ember.
Get to read it off.
We'll go to Ember next.
I'm just looking at the group. I'm like, I didn't watch this live. I got this sent, so I'm just like, I'm probably just gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
Amber's gonna be the one. Amber's the one person who's like unaware of everything, so that makes us even better.
Yeah, it does actually, because it'll give a outside perspective.
That makes us even better.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. I think we'll get an outsider's perspective with Ember being here, which I kind of really want to do for certain things with this podcast. That we get people who are actually in the loop, and when they see it, they actually have it might be their first time listening to this or hearing the news, and they can bring a fresh perspective. That's what we're going to aim to do. And welcome in, Bryce. Welcome in. Good to you, System.
I wasn't expecting what happened. Well, what was I expecting? I was probably expecting. I probably was thinking that both champions switch show, like the WWE champion and the Universal champion switching show. Pretty sure that probably may have or happened.
Yeah, I'm now going to talk.
I wasn't
Go ahead.
expecting what actually went down.
Yeah, if everyone's finished, I'm going to just quickly say mine. I expected a few tag teams to be split up, but not the number that actually happened, and certain key ones that I thought would have stayed together be broken up. And I also didn't expect draft picks to be made on the talk shows for the show. That threw me off when I watched that. When we get to that point, that was a shock. I didn't expect it. I thought if it was going to be, that was after the shows are ended, they'd be the people who are undrafted and they get a chance to move on. But anyway, we're going to go into round one. The number one pick of night one. Raw selected Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, stays on Raw. Wish you may on mute now.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre, obvious good pick. I mean, the WWE Championship is now
Still on Raw.
Yeah, still on Raw. The marquee championship that I believe should be the prize championship is still on the main. They got their pick, and obvious good choice.
Good choice.
Like, he was lowered down last year. Sorry, what? Yeah, well, let me go back through my actual things that we made for last year, Chris. I think you might be aware of them, because I think you were here for it last. You was on that last year. He went pretty low last year, didn't he? If I remember rightly. Was he still with Ziggler then, or they just broken up?
Just broken up.
Just broken up. It's like he goes from like a real low draft pick to be a high draft pick, which was something as a champion, you expect them, if they're in the pool, to go pretty high.
I mean, last year he had a hell of a year to, not to cut you off or anything, but he went from feuding with Dolph Ziggler to feuding with Roman Reigns and helping out Shane McMahon, and he kind of floundered a little bit, but then he found his way once, the Royal Rumble, so staying on Raw made one hell of a change for himself,
Yeah, and like, he is the first UK person to win the top tier championships in WWE. He won the NXT championship, if I remember rightly.
Yeah,
he was the first Brit to do that, and then he was the second British born world champion after Nick Aldis did it in TNA. And obviously, Drew was a former TNA champion there as well, but the first Brit in WWE to be a world champion. So USA definitely got a trump card with that. Moving on to the next one, and unless Emma's got something to say. I missed.
I don't know. Just glad that he stayed and that he's still the champion, because you know it's true, and I mean honestly I like the storyline that they got going for him right now.
Yeah, with Randy. Yeah, I believe Randy was part of pool night 2, so obviously at this time Randy was still undrafted. But I know what we're going to go to next, and I think Chris will be licking his lips. As a tribal chief stays on Smackdown. Pick number 2, faced for Fox and Smackdown. The Universal Champion stays on Smackdown.
The big dog.
He should have been number 1. He's the goddamn tribal chief, man.
There you go.
We have a Roman Reigns fanboy over here.
I think it's more of the fact that Roman Reigns finally got a personality now. Now I could.
Oh, fair play. Instead of just being the guy who's like known for being the muscle of the Shield.
No, I never minded that. It's just now I think Roman Reigns has found himself, and a year on SmackDown really made a difference. I mean, he went from
He went from the feud with Baron Corbin with dog food to Universal Champion.
I didn't mind all that stuff. I just thought it was excessive. I mean, he took a little bit of a beating. I know a lot of fans didn't want him as as a main eventer anymore, and they kind of want to hold on to that cliche. He's already main evented enough, but when you look this good, as he said, you're always gonna be on top. So I'm happy where the position he is, and he's owning up to who he is now more than ever. So congratulations to Roman Reigns. Should have been number 1. There you go.
Well, obviously number 1 in SmackDown's eyes, obviously in Fox eyes as well. Yeah, it would have been nice. It'd be nice if he did, obviously. Going to Raw and obviously then Drew coming to SmackDown, that would have been a seismic shift. A lot of people would be thinking, whoa, that'd have blown a lot of eyes out the water with that.
That's all I made.
But obviously
The headline's a lot better.
yeah, that'd have been the headline.
But I think he really needed the gimmick change.
Roman Reigns goes to Raw.
So we get the jam sandwich belt again. We get the jam belt. We'll get the jam belt back as well.
No, we get the strawberry jam belt.
The strawberry jam belt would have come back. So it's staying on SmackDown as the blue belt. It just feels right. Just feels right.
It really does, honestly.
As Chris was saying, like his gimmick with Paul Heyman, the way he does it, I think we. Chris, I think we.
I feel like Paul Heyman can make him better than he actually is.
I don't know what you guys are trying to say, but I don't think it's a gimmick change. I don't even think he's changed his character. I just think he's just like, throughout his past, he's always said, I'm not the bad guy, I'm not the good guy, I'm just the guy and stuff like that. And he kind of has like an arrogant, but somewhat still at the same time confident demeanor about himself, but he keeps it on a cool level, so to speak. And I just think it's him just being who he always wanted to be and just not caring about anybody else's opinions while doing it. That's why I say he is who he is now. That's why he calls himself the tribal chief, because he believes in himself.
Yeah, just so you know, it kind of cut out and messed up the stream. So I tried to click end stream, but try and keep the recording going, but it didn't work. So the stuff with that obviously might have to be redone later, but don't matter. But yeah, basically, I think Paul Heyman's changed his career. Not like he hasn't actually, as I say, helped him reinvent, but he's using it as a stepping stone. Obviously with Brock not here at the moment, and Paul Heyman obviously being barred from running Raw, this is perfect for... I know Paul Heyman said back in the day, actually, he preempted this, and it's now obviously coming full circle for it. We're going to go on to the next part of the first round. Pick 3 was that Asuka, the SmackDown War Women's Champion, stays on Monday nights. Obviously, won the title via the Money in the Bank ladder match, as Becky had to go on maternity due to being pregnant. And I'm going to say this now: if this somehow gets to Becky Lynch, I hope your pregnancy is going well, and I hope you have a healthy baby soon, delivered soon.
Who doesn't love Asuka? Come on now. I mean,
Exactly.
This is a good pick. I feel like she's always belonged and needed to stay on Raw. I feel like the executives over on SmackDown probably won't see Asuka as valuable because I think over there on their show, they have a little bit more, take on what goes on in that show. And I feel like Asuka's just being who she always is on this show, and I love it. Love it.
Yeah. System, if you're here, you can say something. I don't know if you've got to go somewhere, but if for me, it's a no-brainer. Keeping her on Raw, no-brainer at all. Keeps the Raw Women's Championship on Raw. And, yeah. Tough to beat, and I think when Becky gets back, we're going to see Asuka versus Becky.
I don't think you're gonna.
This is before we get to the next pick. At the time of seeing it, I thought this might be a thing we could see. But I doubt this will happen because of the next draft pick. He was the Monday Night Messiah. People are dubbing him the Smackdown Savior now. But I'm just going to call him the Friday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. Who's the Smackdown?
So, Danny, what's your opinion on Seth Rollins coming over to the blue brand again?
It's the first time that since the original draft extension 4 years ago, he's mainly been on Raw, so this is his first time away from Raw.
8 years.
8 years.
8 years since 2012.
Wow.
He's the matches that he used to have on SmackDown really didn't matter. SmackDown sideshow back then.
Yeah, wasn't that part of his Shield days?
Yeah, part of his Shield days. That's what I meant to lead up to. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how the greater good that Seth has been proclaiming is going to work. Obviously, he's had a run-in with The Fiend, obviously this time last year, when he was the Universal Champion, and obviously slowly morphed into what you see now.
Oh, different character change.
Yeah, massive change since the babyface Seth that we had leading up to that chaotic Hell in a Cell last year to the Seth we have now.
Yeah. Can I say this?
Go for it.
I feel like Seth Rollins is gonna slowly but surely disappoint me over on SmackDown, and I have my reasons. I just feel like there's too many bad guys over there on SmackDown for him to really get noticed. And I was really excited to see Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
Again?
Yeah.
After they...
No, for real this time. This time,
Yeah.
the dynamics would have changed. Seth Rollins would have been, what he is, and Drew McIntyre is who he is now. It's different, and I was excited for that. And now I don't think we're gonna get to that point.
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying for sure. If anyone else wants to say anything, let themselves be heard. As for me,
Rollins and Roman Reigns. Honestly, you don't see it, but there could be a potential build-up, not a Shield reunion, but there could be another opportunity for Seth to get that belt.
yeah, that is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
That's why I like having outsiders information on this to come in and have their own ideas and stuff like that. Because I didn't even personally think of that at the time.
Well, they're on SmackDown, so
Yeah.
even though they're technically Shield brothers, still, this is their job. You never know. They've gone against each other before.
Yeah, they have indeed. When
But it wasn't for a belt. Now it's for a belt.
Yeah. System. What do you think about Seth Rollins moving to SmackDown from Raw?
SmackDown could be a better opportunity, because then we could have the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins matchup that was supposed to happen, then turned into a triple threat with Dean Ambrose.
Oh, when Dean cashed in
Yes.
back in 2016.
Planned triple threat because originally they were going to have Seth versus Roman.
obviously that was due to the wellness policy. They had to get it off Roman, and then they decided to book it, the triple threat in for Battlegrounds, which was lackluster at best at the time.
It was a match, but I'm like, Seth ultimately said that he's always wanted one-on-one with Roman, and that never happened. Like, he said for like the belt.
Yeah.
Where did this match happen? Didn't he come back in 2016?
Yeah, it was Money in the Bank. 2016 Money in the Bank, Roman versus Seth. Seth won, and as Seth had his crowning moment, Dean Ambrose cashed in.
Yeah, but the match still happened though. But yeah. I was trying to remember if he didn't.
Yeah, this is like 4 years later though.
He said he's wanted Roman one-on-one properly, like no interruptions, none.
Yeah, I get that.
Because he felt like he was disrespected with the whole cash-in thing.
Justifiably.
He felt like he was just disrespected though.
Justifiably so. That was the crowning moment of his return.
We shall see.
Indeed, we shall see. And we're moving on to the last.
Because I was literally deciding what I was eating.
Yeah, I'll come back to Oscar for you in a minute. But the last bit is MVP, the United States champion Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin, known as the Hurt Business, staying on Raw.
Honestly, I'm saying that is a good choice because that could potentially be Retribution's like competitors. The way they're going with that storyline.
Yeah, obviously Retribution was part of Pool 2.
I feel like that is a smart idea. Thinking about that now, like turning Cedric heel, best choice you can make for him. He was doing absolute nothing, and then you give him like someone like MVP, Shelton Benjamin, who said like both of them, they've had like experience in Japan, so they know actual crowds, how to get a crowd reaction properly, because you know Japan treats wrestling like everything else, respectfully.
They legitimately worship it.
They will sit there. You actually could sit there and watch a simple match that's a squash match. They'd be sitting there like they would only clap if it was a good ending. So you've got two people there that have legitimately have experience. And then you've got Bobby Lashley, who's been like an MMA fighter,
bringing the legitimacy to the group.
Bringing like the actual, like, he's physically being in situations where he's had to beat people up like, for real. So if there's ever a shoot fight needed, you know who to call.
I know Chris definitely is dying to get a word on this.
Yeah, obviously, like, there's a group. I think it's well needed for all of their careers. I don't think Shelton is at the point in his career to get many opportunities unless, you know, he's afforded any. I think Cedric Alexander, he needed this. Obviously, as System Shock said, on Raw, and I think even a change on Smackdown wouldn't do much for him, but I think having MVP and Bobby Lashley surrounding him alongside Shelton Benjamin, this is the right move, and hopefully moving forward for him, he could learn under them and, you know, pick up any details possible, you know, whether it's like techniques in the gym, psychology wise, you know, promo wise, character wise, whatever you need. I think all these guys bring it to the forefront.
Yeah, obviously MVP, Shelton and Lashley have fought each other for many years, back in between us, like the mid to late 2000s. So they know how business has evolved. Obviously for Lashley, he went through pretty much a rough patch at the end of last year, beginning this year with the Lana situation, which I know for a fact I hated it.
I don't like that either.
I'm gonna say that's like out of every storyline WWE's ever did, I'm like, seriously, you had to do the typical white husband.
Yeah, but then they switched it up. But then they switched it up to bring Liv Morgan back.
Yeah, that was a one-off thing that is still like the dumbest thing WWE's ever did. It's like
That was the worst debut anyone's had.
You could have worked it out as like Lana had a thing with Liv Morgan. You could have did a whole storyline with that. Wasted opportunity. Plus, I feel like Bobby Lashley was made to look like an absolute fool with that whole storyline. Like, it's like, yeah, we've got Bobby Lashley, this guy who looks like he could actually kill you in a fight. Yeah, we'll just let him have somebody's wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like not all the storylines that everyone gets are okay, but I mean, I would say, yeah, like what you guys were saying about Shelton Benjamin, having the other three by him, definitely this is probably a push that he would need, considering on SmackDown he didn't really, he doesn't seem like he's good by himself. Because on SmackDown he had Chad Gable with him. Now Chad Gable's by himself. So now it's just like, okay, here some people by you that can hopefully build you back up so you can maybe go back to SmackDown as a singles competitor or stay on Raw as a group. But at the same time, this is probably the best thing for him to be building him up.
Yeah.
I'll also say like Shelton can be a good single star, but I feel like with Bobby there, that he needs somebody who can make him look good. I'm saying like this group could help out a lot with that. Cause you've got Cedric Alexander who's like the high fly, you've got Shelton Benjamin who's like an all rounder, and then you've got MVP who's like the show off, I would say.
I'd say the tactician.
Tactician, that's the one. Just that one, Danny.
They got the legitimacy with Bobby Lashley. Like, obviously, Shelton is famed for that super kick he got from
That is like the
Shawn Michaels that stayed on the Raw intro for like 2 years.
I will say for a fact, I legitimately thought Shelton broke his legs after that landing. I watched that and I was just like, holy shit.
But yeah.
But it turns out he didn't.
I was like, holy shit, Shelton has just broke both his legs and he's going to be out for a while. Then he gets back on with it.
He gets on with it, yeah. My personal opinion, if I'm allowed to actually speak now, with MVP with Lashley. Oh my god. Lord, leave me alone, please. God, I've had to set filters on it. Leave me alone. Anyway, with Angel, don't even troll. Anyway, as I was saying with MVP and Lashley, it gives me the same vibes as what we had with. Let me just get rid of that. Let's get rid of you. Get rid of you. There we go. But anyway, yeah. Basically, with them two together, it gives me the Leo Rush vibes again.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Except that Leo Rush stuff was like.
Oh my god.
Like,
I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone.
Like, you take the guy.
You know, I knew so much.
Yeah, like a month before that, he was slated for Cage of Death, and then decided to sign with WWE. Did Leo Rush, and I'm like, you could have had a guy who's not a deathmatch wrestler or anything like that go and prove that he can mix with that style as CZW World Champion, and then you make him lose the belt because he moved to WWE.
Yeah, I mean, that was honestly, that storyline, Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley, could have been a lot better if they had picked somebody else, because here's the thing, Leo Rush kept trying to talk big and bad, and eventually got himself in the room and got his ass kicked, so he should have known better to not do that, and to maybe not align himself with somebody who's way, way out of his league and way, way better than him. So that storyline could have been way better.
He being like, yeah, you're going to be in the cruiserweight division because that's where you belong. If they kept him in the heavyweight division, we could have seen like awesome matches.
If anything, Leo Rush does need more character development, and he needs to work on his fighting skills and to learn not to talk so big, knowing that it's just gonna get him in the ring and get his ass kicked again. You should know better. Which is probably why they stopped that storyline and started the Lana storyline. When they stopped that because they wanted to bring Liv Morgan back.
Mr. Golden Age Gaming said, I loved Leo as a wrestler, but he sucked as a mouthpiece.
I agree. His wrestling skills were good in the ring though. But I would say honestly,
I didn't like him as either.
You try to let Leo's wrestling talk more than the promo. WWE, you basically had a wasted opportunity there and you wasted it, and now look what you've got yourself.
Well, he was all talk.
You had to physically let go of Leo Rush and then rebuild Bobby Lashley because, honestly, I think Bobby Lashley degraded Leo Rush to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, you're just that mouthpiece. Go out there and make Bobby Lashley our next big thing.
Yeah.
That's ignoring the fact that we have the freaking thing where he buried Big Show in the Extreme Elimination Chamber back in like 2006.
Yeah. So yeah. So overall, go back through them again. Drew picked number 1. Roman picked number 2. Oscar picked number 3. Seth picked 4th, and then Business as number 5. Obviously, we said a lot about it. Obviously, for me, overall, with the first 5 picks, not surprised Drew and Roman went and Asuka the first 3 out. Seth going to Smackdown, obviously the first time in 8 years. That was the game changer of round 1.
Yeah, Seth.
For me personally.
Major game changer.
Let's hope he gets that title match with Roman.
Yeah.
And no disrespectful finisher.
Well, let's hope they don't screw him over. If anything, Vince might throw in some storyline that reunites the two as a tag team and ends up changing Seth's gimmick again.
Yeah, how about can we either have Seth Rollins, or can we literally, please WWE, I've called for it for years, can you let Seth Rollins use his Tyler Black gimmick just under the name Seth Rollins? God, you see what I got him in NXT to be the first ever NXT champion. He can do it by himself and he can do it as the way he wants.
I mean, honestly, that's the thing. Like, they shouldn't change their gimmicks way too much. I mean, unless what they're gonna do, and I don't want to do this like as a spoiler or anything, obviously it's already out there, but they could try to do with Seth Rollins what they're doing with Alexa Bliss, a double gimmick.
Well, that's a good idea.
You know, that brings a smile to my face when someone says that.
Black, or his original, what he had before the the Monday Night Messiah, and a mix of the Tyler Black. You never know. Honestly, both ways could be very interesting on the Smackdown brand.
If they call him the Friday Night Messiah, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm like, oh, you just have to.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna get another gimmick change.
I think he's gonna be the SmackDown savior. I think that's what people are going with. That's what the audience kind of said. I said the Friday Night Messiah because that's me. That's just going off the Monday Night Messiah stuff.
I don't think they should go with that because that's what he did on Raw and Raw and SmackDown. Even though they're both run by WWE, they're two different brands, which means the gimmick shouldn't stay all the time. With this one, I think should be changed.
I feel like what we should do is they should do what they did back in the day where Seth, when he first turned heel, when he first did the heel turn, is bring him back. He realizes that the whole Messiah stuff was just a bunch of bollocks that he was brainwashed into, and then to turn Murphy face, he basically blames Murphy for everything, and then says that's the reason.
Basically, he realizes, yes, it was a bunch of bull, and then basically
just keep him heel, but have Seth be like, yes, Murphy. Guess
Heel,
what?
but like with a different gimmick. Like that's what I was saying. Like a mix of his other gimmicks he's done.
Like Mr. Golden Age Gaming said. That's actually quite good.
I don't think that would work for Seth. Personally,
We
like,
don't know.
we don't know if it'll
There
work.
could be a plan for it already.
We don't know what interviews people have had with Fox and stuff like that. But we're going to now go on to the second round, and I'm going to come to Chris first with this one, because me and Chris have had a lot of conversations about this.
One.
It is the phenomenal one to Raw. Me and Chris have had a lot of conversations behind the scenes of us doing the Interactive Family about this. So that's why I want to go to Chris first on this.
I don't want to say nothing. When it comes to AJ Styles, I got nothing really to say. I feel like he's done everything he could do in WWE. I think he's just at his like Shawn Michaels period in terms of like after not feuding with the title, like what is there, like the World Heavyweight Championship I'm speaking about, like what is there for him to do? I mean, we seen him turn heel, we seen him turn babyface, like there's not really been an exact like gimmick change. He's always been the same, you know, phenomenal one. I mean that's more so of a nickname, but I haven't seen like any character work. I think the closest we got to that was when he was feuding with the Undertaker, and after that point, for me, everything's been downhill with AJ Styles so far. I kind of like the stuff that he's doing with the Undertaker, but then after that, it was just like there was nothing to keep me interested. There was no big payoff from that match for me. It's just like there's nothing much I could really say about AJ Styles. I used to, you know, be a huge AJ Styles fan when I was a kid. And, you know, I thought of him as TNA's John Cena, but
he was pretty much that guy.
He was for a while,
the
and
boy did I figure out that I was.
What
so
about
wrong
the
about
intercontinental feud that he had going on with Jeff Hardy?
That what I'm gonna say was,
Look up.
it's like, yeah, WWE screwed up. They screwed up there. I was like double titles. I'm like, please don't make this.
NXT currently have a double title as well, in terms of the Cruiserweight title. Like, Jordan Devlin has not been stripped of his title.
No, that's true.
Yet we had the stuff with Sami Zayn, which we'll come to later on when we get to him being drafted. But I'm going to say two words, Chris. And I think you know exactly what I'm going to say. Paul Heyman.
Again,
some
if they
people
give
who
AJ
don't
Styles
know-
something with Paul Heyman, I
No,
swear.
no, it's not
they're
that.
already
It's not
doing
that.
with Roman Reigns.
It's
They
not
don't
that.
need to give everybody to him.
don't need to
It was
give
bad enough.
like-
It was bad enough when it was Brock Lesnar, and I'm
I think you guys
Glad
are way
that
up.
we
I
haven't
think
seen
you
him.
guys are way off track right now.
You don't know why I said them. Chris knows exactly why I've said this. But it's been rumours.
Internal feud of Paul Heyman right now because he considered basically politics got in the way backstage, and during the cost cutting of this year early on due to the pandemic, his boys Gallo and Anderson got terminated, and Paul Heyman is the head of creative on Raw, and you know.
Oh yeah.
So AJ Styles felt a way about that. He felt like he was betrayed in a way or something like that from Paul Heyman, and right now there's a lot of politicking going on.
Yeah.
Oh, he is such a heat with Paul Heyman. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. That's why that's why I wanted Chris to start off with this, because we knew exactly what was going on. Because we've gone into depth with this ourselves.
To be honest, AJ is a company man. AJ is a company man, so he's not going to do anything. I mean, this is not going to turn into a storyline.
Unless they do the way they did with TNA, where they offered him a better contract for less money than he was originally offered. That's when they made the move to be like, yeah, TNA, see you later. I've been here for like 13 years, but guess what? You offer me this amount, and then you tell me no. See you later.
It's like, obviously.
That's him when he walked and then did the whole introduction in the Bullet Club and all that.
For me personally, knowing obviously what me and Chris have talked about with AJ, like, there's a lot of things that people. if they've read at the time what's going on, like obviously the beef between them, that was probably one of the reasons why after Mania he was traded to SmackDown in the first place, was to get away from Paul Heyman. Because they might butt heads on certain things, and obviously now Paul Heyman's on SmackDown with Roman. I think AJ might have said to WWE, said, look, I do not want to be on the same show as Heyman. Get me off. If Roman's staying on SmackDown with Heyman, I want to be on Raw. Or hell, even NXT. Get me away from him. And obviously, USA, obviously this is probably being transferred to USA. USA are aware of it. Hence why this has happened.
Honestly, I would say if AJ went to NXT, NXT could probably get boosted back up to where it was when they had like Neville, Sami Zayn, and all that.
Yeah.
Back to like the peak, like where people are like, NXT, that's one you definitely should check out. I feel like they should send people to like NXT that haven't had anything good on main roster for a bit.
That's what we...
back up. Like look at Tyler Breeze in Fandango. Tyler Breeze was ready to walk out the door.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And he definitely went to, I don't remember who he went to, but he's like, put me on NXT, and I'm like, what? He's like, put me on NXT. I'm gonna walk otherwise, I'm gonna leave otherwise, don't care. I will literally write out my contract till the end, but put me on NXT.
Like, a
Do
lot.
anything right and all. And I'll never give them credit until they do something right. My standards will never change. I know you guys don't know me too well, but I have high standards. And
He does.
I
He
think
legit
you
has.
pick who you want. Yeah.
The amount of times I give him ideas for the interactive family, he just, nope, it won't work, it won't work. Okay.
It's not bad. I'm not a tyrant. or
It's
anything.
not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but it's stuff like, I think, oh, why don't we try this? And he's like, I want to, but I don't think my demographic would appreciate stuff like this. And the stuff he's told me and I've completely shut down straight away. So he works both ways.
Yeah, everything I do is based off of storyline and
Yeah.
character development. It's more so never anything about like, oh, this guy can have a great match. Oh, this girl, she's great in the ring, or it's nothing anything like that. It's about how can I make you look like an actual TV character more than just the guy that wrestles in the in the ring, and then like you might occasionally recognize him, but you don't really recognize him. That's my whole thing about wrestling. I want it to be like mix of 80s, a little bit of 90s, and the wrestling value of the early 2000s from the Ruthless Aggression era. I want all of that in one. Yeah.
Basically, give you an identity to make people care about you.
I don't even care about me. It's care about wrestling.
Yeah.
In general.
Like, make you care about the people that we are booking and how we want storylines to progress.
Yeah, if I keep talking about this, I'm gonna start crying. But yeah, man,
We'll have a separate one podcast where we can go through it. We'll literally go through it. Myself and Chris will go through it.
And I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I am confirming now it will be a podcast pod talks with me and Chris where we literally just talk through it.
You're gonna have a podcast where I get to air my grievances.
Yes!
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
It will happen, it will happen. It will happen.
We can do that just for like fucking shit that I hate.
Oh my god.
Oh, trust me, we're gonna have it. It is gonna happen. That might be just a YouTube exclusive.
Oh my god. I will tear a fucking hole in everybody. Oh my god. I'm sorry for the cursing, but yo. Boy, I'm gonna have to write a list down. Hold on.
Yeah. If you want to start that list, we'll get that. We'll potentially record that tomorrow, Chris, for next week.
Oh my god, I can't. You just gave me.
But anyway, back to the draft.
Who's next pick?
We go to the boss, Sasha Banks, staying on SmackDown.
Good choice.
Good choice.
SmackDown.
The second female to go in the draft.
Storyline with her going on with Bailey right now. She's going for the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do they think they can prolong this storyline? I mean, it's gonna get dense at
I'm
one
gonna
point.
say.
Well, how long do they think they can keep
I'll be back.
Bailey's going? She's had the belt for a long time. I understand that is a storyline, but honestly, I don't think Sasha's not gonna get it for her. We don't know. But this storyline, everybody was saying that this was coming up.
It's been rumored since Mania. This. A lot of people, including myself, and I think even though
they were going to turn on each other eventually, but we also saw this because before Bayley even had her gimmick change, they kept feuding on.
They've been on and off. They've been on and off, haven't they?
Well, yeah, but they were always fighting in the back, or they were calling each other out, or something like that. So we kind of.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we kind of already saw this going. So that's kind of how their relationship is. So honestly, even though they're, Sasha's like, well, I'm coming for the belt right now. Who knows? She could get the belt, and then they might make a start another storyline with both of them being friends again. You never know, because that's how WWE has been working with both of them anyways.
Oh,
I'm right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say, I think I remember watching a Talking Smack with Davey Woods when he first came back, where Kayla was talking about this, and or it might be an interview by someone else, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they said that within like a few months they'll be back tag teaming again. Because it was on the Talking Smack, I think it was on the Talking Smack episode. I don't remember which one it is, but like they've had counselling when Kurt was GM of Raw.
Oh god, I remember.
I didn't really want to bring that up, but I did.
I mean, we all saw that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna do that storyline again, and that doesn't not necessarily mean like they're gonna be friends again. Like I said, they could start that storyline up again, but you never know. They could bring in someone else. They could start that up. They could still have them feuding, but who knows? They could switch the whole thing up. They could end up giving Sasha the belt and end up being, Bayley trying to get it back, or they could end up giving Sasha the belt, and then the next draft, they may send Bayley back over to Raw so that they don't have to do that anymore. You don't know. There's so many different ways that they could play this off. Are we gonna figure this out? No. Right now, it happens to be a feud going between them until apparently Sasha gets the belt, but apparently we don't know she's gonna get the belt. That's why it is building up. And that's why there's that whole Hell in a Cell thing coming up, so we never know. This is what could be building up for that. Considering how matches are set up already, they might actually give her the win there.
Yeah.
And will she hold on to the belt, assuming that Sasha wins the title? Because we know for a fact
she the Raw belt pretty quick.
every Raw title she's won.
I don't think she can hold on to the SmackDown belt as long as she did, but it depends, because that was Asuka that she was going against here, depending on who she goes against.
Damn, I forgot.
If she does get the belt.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah. All about that. Another short title reign for the boss. Her name should start being the loss now for all.
Yeah.
But,
because when she won it off Charlotte, she instantly dropped it the next pay-per-view. And when she won it off Bliss, within like a week, she lost it again. And obviously it happened with Asuka. She won it, and then within a month she lost it again. I don't know if that is because because of injuries, or that WWE felt the move was wrong in the end, so they had to revert back.
They could honestly be building her up for something like they're doing with Bayley.
Yeah.
Just they're not doing it yet, which is why they're giving her short title reigns to like kind of, when you're kind of like, it's kind of like a cliffhanger. You get that rush of, oh hey, this is happening. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're giving her little title reigns. So it's like, okay, we see her as a champion. We see her what she's doing, but she's not completely ready yet.
Yeah.
So they're building her up by having her in these feuds.
That is a possibility as well.
So she may eventually have a long title reign like Bayley right now, but not yet. But this is why they probably chose to keep her on SmackDown, so they can keep building her up.
Okay. Can I say one last thing?
Go ahead.
Okay. Here's my analysis of this whole Sasha Banks current, not even storyline, but just sole assessment of what's going on in her career. If you go back a couple months, the feud obviously made sense for Sasha to, be betrayed by Bayley because, the cliche like, oh, you cost me this, oh, you cost me that, kind of thing that goes on when you got duos and stuff like that. But I think WWE, they run themselves into a wall every single time they do these Hell in a Cell pay-per-views, because they always got to get a feud that actually means something for it to be in a cell, but usually it never does. In this case, I think they're just rushing it, and I think that's a mistake. What I think they should have did was help Sasha Banks out by keeping the title, the Raw Women's Championship, and have Bayley be the SmackDown Women's Champion. Have that go all the way to WrestleMania, and have a feud about that for the championships. Not just making it about the championships, making it about them just starting to hate each other. Again, I think that's where the direction they should have gone in. Sasha Banks being on SmackDown, it's cool, but one thing I hate is seeing all the four horsewomen together at the same time. Just any of those combinations just being close to each other for too long just starts to piss me off, because it's like, I need other people to get.
It's like WWE's like, here we have these 4 women who are awesome, shove them down your face.
Yeah, that's how you know that certain wrestlers need a push, because
that's why what's the one that's why they got trending wrestling is I don't even on Twitter was the Charlotte Flair push that she was having.
Yeah, I think Charlotte might going away is probably for a while is probably helped WWE. Obviously, the reason why I think Sasha won the Raw title originally was to get some legitimacy in there, to get the horsewomen. When Bliss and Cross lost the tag titles, Chris could agree with me. I was pissed.
It was like a team they were put together just as like a last minute thing, but then they've actually worked it out and been like,
yeah.
That's like out of all the tag team title stuff I've seen, that's like the most enjoyable shit I've ever seen. Is like Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. It's like, yeah, we have legit friends made from a tag team.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's enjoyable to watch.
Next up is Monday Nights Are Feeling the Glow. Naomi moves from SmackDown to Raw.
She didn't have that gimmick change, but look at that hair.
I know. That is actually from. I think that is off.
Going natural, because wasn't she always like wearing a wig or something that had like little glow thing on the bed?
I believe that is actually her WWE image as well, if I remember rightly.
She's always wearing a weave,
A weave. It's sort of natural hair, but till a certain point, and then she.
Honestly, I prefer her like this.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, it's the one I got from WWE.com. Well. Legitly, it's the WWE.com one I got. So. So just have a look.
I mean, she looks like she feels a lot better, honestly, and it's just like, hey, you're breathe more.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with hair extensions, but like, if you're gonna want to try something new, take them off.
For me, it's obviously helping build a women's division. Obviously, a former SmackDown Women's Champion potentially down the line could face Asuka for the title. Probably in a losing effort.
That would probably be a good idea, considering she has had the SmackDown title, so her being on Raw probably will eventually have that storyline with Asuka. Or if for some reason Asuka loses the title to somebody, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, it's Asuka.
Yeah.
you know, a raw title reign for Naomi would probably be good.
Chris,
You
any
see
words?
a lot of the female wrestlers on there, they've had both belts.
Or had a title.
Out of all the women, never talked about hasn't had both belts.
Women who haven't had both belts as of right now is Nia, Ronda, even though Ronda isn't there, Nikki Cross, and had
Don't
any
even
singles.
get me started on Ronda. I'm kind of glad that she's gone.
Yeah,
that was.
That was basically like,
No.
like, yeah, we've got this legit MMA star who's in the UFC Hall of Fame and all that.
Yeah, but the way she acted in WWE, no, she would have not ended up in the Hall of Fame for what she was doing. No.
Yeah, even like, although Hulk Hogan has had his controversies, he has said the best thing ever is like, why would you bring in an MMA star to basically make himself out to be a shoot fighter? You already had one, and then drop Ken Shamrock's name, and Ken Shamrock's like, yeah, I understood that I didn't have to say that I was the baddest man on the planet.
I never will forgive Ronda for the instance with Bliss, because that got rid of the Trish Stratus match. That would have been so good to watch.
Oh, yeah,
I would have loved to have seen that. I've never forgiven Ronda since. But anyway, Chris, any remarks on Naomi going to Raw? You're not close to your mic, man.
Said I have no remarks to say about her, unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We'll go to the next pick that came out was the EST of WWE. Bianca Belair going to Smackdown.
I'm saying for like out of all the newer women wrestling in WWE over the past few years, I'm like, Bianca Belair.
You know, I will say this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, but I will say this now. I am kind of glad that she is on the main roster. I do not care if she goes to Raw or SmackDown. I'm glad that she went to Raw first. Now she's on SmackDown. And you know what? Coming straight from NXT, I think it's good to see her. Just to see what she can do, because knowing that a lot of people don't get moved, I think she was a great pick to be moved.
She came into it as a wrestling fan, and she went to the performance center. Like, it's like most of them. It's like Alexa Bliss wasn't a wrestling fan by the time she started.
Yeah.
She ended up falling into it, but Bianca Belair was like the wrestling fan who.
No, Bliss was
the performance center was there, and then she's been like the best woman that they've ever produced out of the WWE style.
This is where I think we're going to get the contrary. This is where we're going to get the contrary from Chris, I believe.
No, I ain't gonna say none.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for that little show tomorrow. Then I'm gonna tear everybody apart.
Okay. Next week on YouTube, the official, I will make sure we get that recorded tomorrow. When this goes live on YouTube, that will be already recorded, and I might bring that up over the weekend. That might be something to upload over the weekend.
Yeah. Just call the title "Everything Wrong with WWE."
Talks.
Wow. Everything wrong with WWE, everything wrong with wrestling.
That will get the clicks.
I'll get the clickbaits. I'll get the clickbaits with the YouTube part of the program.
It's really everything wrong with wrestling.
It's called totally not clickbait.
It's totally not clickbait.
Yeah, it's everything wrong with wrestling in general.
Yeah.
But WWE is like, where it's.
Just WWE.
When it comes to Bianca Belair, obviously a great talent. I didn't have anything to say about Naomi, but I will say this: and Bianca, because obviously they are black, and I'm black, and I guess I have room to speak here. I just had to say that before anybody questioned me.
I have a question.
I know how people's minds work, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. My whole thing is, I have a hate for these relationships in WWE, and here's why. I don't have a problem with you having a actual relationship. I don't care about you breaking kayfabe. I don't give a damn about any of that. But here's my problem. When you got special talents that could be used as special talents and they got the potential to do something, and you're restricting them by having them be constrained on the same show because you don't want to break up couples, that's a problem with me. Naomi, she's proved throughout the year she hasn't really done anything besides make a kid-friendly gimmick that worked for a little bit, and after that she hasn't got much opportunities, but she's never really did anything with them to take her to the next level. Bianca Belair, she has all the tools necessary, and she's younger. She has what it takes to be the next level superstar, a face for a whole different demographic. And I think that her, being on SmackDown is cool, but she's missing out on a huge opportunity. And here's the opportunity I'm talking about. I'm talking about her probably aligning herself with the Hurt Business. She could be the new modern day Black China. Think about that.
No, think about that. You're not wrong on that one.
Retribution got their own girl in the group. Why not bring her? You can build her up. Bianca Belair still has development work on her mic skills still. She has very basic course, mic skills, but with MVP teaching her along the way and her getting more shine, and she's already got like the muscular frame for a girl, you could do something with that. You could make something out of that. Can you imagine Bianca Belair representing the Hurt Business? Like, there's so many things you could do, but I guess you want to keep, couples and do whatever you want to do. But I feel like she's gonna get lost along the way on SmackDown, and hopefully her talent, just rises, shines through, because the cream always rises to the top. But that's just my personal.
I'll be surprised if in a year she's not back. If she's back in NXT in a year, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, you guys we never know, but. You never know, but like we could have this. Honestly, next time she gets drafted, she could go back to Raw, or she could stay on SmackDown again, and the Hurt Business could be coming to SmackDown. Who knows? Maybe they'll do this storyline on SmackDown. Maybe she'll go back, and maybe they'll do it. Maybe they already have it written down to be a thing. Maybe they think it'd be too obvious to do it right now.
I'm gonna say this, Chris.
I don't know, man. They just want to do what they want to do. But yeah, go ahead.
We could actually look into this.
Oh yeah, that's why I brought it up, because I'm thinking
about
exactly.
it. Yeah, exactly. I was wondering why you brought it up originally.
Because I'm thinking about this for my own.
Stop right. Not like WWE have nicked your ideas before, like.
No, I got a record trace of events of them stealing my ideas. Like, trust me.
We'll get into that with the podcast 1-on-1 as you come out.
No, that's not this week. That just means I'm smarter than them. But
yeah, that is definitely something we could look into for that, for sure. Anyway, the last pick of this round is the makeshift team, which is the Women's Tag Team Champions. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler stayed on Raw. I don't even know why they're a team. I don't know why they're tag champions.
All I'm gonna say is they're making it work, and that's all that counts. They were put together because they had nothing to do. That's practically why they were put together. And they won the tag titles because they're like, oh yeah, we need new tag champs, and they've been making it work.
Yep. System Shock, I solemnly agree with you on this. You said it right on the point, and I'm not gonna say anything because you just took it all.
That's literally it.
Yeah, but as solo stars, yeah, as solo stars, they still got potential, but obviously, this is not the direction they want to go for. Right? This is making it work, as you said. They're making it work right now, so that's. They're making it work
because you've got Nia Jax, who's like the typical. I'm the big woman, WWE style. Under WWE, like, I'm the big woman, I can squash you, and then Shayna Baszler's like, yeah, out the way, pal, I'm just gonna kick their face in.
I'll kick the face in and choke him out.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you get choked out, but
to be fair, Nia Jax is not just a big woman, she is just like anomaly in wrestling. Like, I know there's other wrestling promotions out there, but a lot of them don't feature a lot of women. like Nia Jax. There's only like 1 and 2 like in every single company in wrestling.
Jessica Havoc and I think Jordan Grace in Impact.
She's not. She. You know, she got size, but she's not as like.
Yeah, not like the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like that type of thing. You get them, like in them three, including Nia in this, in their own unique ways, are different to everyone else in the roster. As each show, as you've said, yeah.
It's like Nyla Rose AEW has been compared to Nia Jax, and she's like, I'm Nia Jax, but like 10 times better.
Like, how many awesome Kongs do you get every single day? Like, she's an anomaly.
Oh yeah, her listen.
Karma, you want about Karma?
Ruined and so badly timed.
Yeah. Ember, you got anything on the women's tag team champions staying on Raw, or? Have we lost Ember?
No.
I thought you fell asleep, then.
I mean, I'm tired, but I didn't fall asleep. I just had to go, take care of a thing.
Yeah. Anything about Shayna and Nia staying on Raw?
This is an odd group.
I think
a very odd tag team.
I've just realized, I feel like Ember, you're like one of these people who's like, yeah, this is good, this is bad, and that's as far as you go.
No, but like, I like that they brought over Shayna from NXT. I like that they brought Nia back, but I'm just like, this is one odd tag team.
I'm gonna say it's an odd tag team that works.
Yeah.
Because you've got Shayna Baszler, who legitimately came from an MMA background, and legitimately, I think if I was in a room with Shayna and I said the wrong thing, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, holy crap, Shayna could kick my ass.
No, they're a good tag team. It's just odd because you never thought you'd see because of what you've seen from both of them, like what you've seen from Shayna on NXT, what you've seen from Nia on, the main roster. You don't expect them to get they don't get along, but they're willing to coincide for the sake of the belts.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're out there with someone who you don't like, but you have basically they have their responsibility to keep defending those belts, regardless of how much they don't get along.
Yeah, I forgot that they were put together and they hated each other, and then they're like,
yeah, because it all started with Nia and Shayna attacking each other, and then going from there.
No, I like the idea that the WWE started. It's like, yeah, you both hate each other, but guess what? We hate these people even more.
But hey, they started with the small feud, then they put them together as like, hey, they're feuding, surprise! Now they're getting the title, so it's just like.
Oh, when we get onto one of the picks further down, I have so much to say about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Danny, you can probably kind of guess where I'm hinting.
No, I think I know which ones you're talking about, and I know there's two separate picks that I want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about them together.
Right. Okay. Are we all done on this? As we have a lot, we still got 3 rounds on Smackdown, and then we've got a whole 7 rounds plus the free agents still to go. So we're going to go straight into round 3 picks. First one for Raw is the one and only Ricochet.
It's wasted. That's all I'm gonna say is wasted. They literally taking him NXT. Ricochet was good, and then they brought him to main roster, and it was like, oh yeah, you that guy who does the flippy doodads? Yeah, just do that, and then they gave him the match for Lesnar. I'm like, alright.
He's much talent, and they barely see him. He needs to get a push. he needs to get a push.
He needs to
I
get a
really
US
do
title
like him
run.
a lot.
He needs to get a US title run. At least.
To be fair,
Not just that,
there's
any
nothing he can
title
really do.
would be great for him.
Yeah, any. Even a tag. Even having them in a tag team with Apollo Crews would be amazing.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, to be fair, there's nothing really. I don't know. You guys may see this in one way, and I may see this in the other. But his style of wrestling, I mean, it's appreciated. But I think that's all he brings to the table right now. And there's only two routes for him to really go for, from what I've seen and what I know from his past. I think the route that if you're gonna go one way with it and you're just gonna showcase wrestling, then go the 2003-esque Rey Mysterio, style, and just make him completely an underdog and just put him in those situations and just always make him an underdog no matter what. I know everybody in wrestling gets thrown around the word underdog, but you got to do it because that's all he got right now besides his in-ring work rate. And I think the best thing he could go for, which he said on Twitter he's not going to go for, which is a damn shame, it's to put him in that damn mask and make him Prince Puma again.
Yeah, I agree on that one there, but they legally can't use Prince Puma. Just at least shove him
King Ricochet, Prince Puma, something.
Shove him on the mask, or at least at some point have King of the Ring and have him win and become King Ricochet. God damn it.
When he has a mask on, he's more identifiable, and that can help move merch, and he's gonna have a much cooler look. Give him some new gear, and it'd be cool.
You could do it like a best, like you have a best match wrestling. You have Joseph Parks.
Yeah.
You could do
Regardless of what they do with him, he needs a push.
Mm-hmm.
I'm agreeing on that one.
I just think he needs to find an identity more than anything.
Yeah.
So we're all probably in agreement that he probably needs to go to NXT.
Probably go. Nah, I wouldn't say NXT.
I wouldn't say
NXT is not going to develop you. You guys have forgotten NXT used to be a developmental brand, and now it's not. It's just about.
Yeah, now it's just a third brand that literally you have.
Now it's just about.
You have people like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa like nearly killing each other in that Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Oh god, I thought teeth were coming out when that knee strike happened.
For me personally, with Ricochet, like obviously, I feel he needs a new identity, and hopefully they will do something with Ricochet, because obviously me and Chris have him as our current Money in the Bank and Interactive family, so there is potential that you can get out of him. We're just trying to find where that is. Next up is Jey Uso staying on Smackdown. Obviously, Jimmy is not part of the draft because he's currently injured.
That makes sense.
So, obviously, Jey is having his feud with Roman at the moment, leading into the I Quit Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, can I just say that's like the smallest issues of the Hell in a Cell match ever. It's like, oh yeah, you want me to Hell in a Cell? Yeah. You're gonna have to.
It's not as bad as last year's.
I have to physically tell you I quit. I'm like, yes. I'm like, that's a better way than just having Roman do the thing of, yeah, a spear or pin, and you've lost. Like, really?
Yeah, that's why I hate these gimmick pay-per-views. Yeah, another thing I'm gonna complain about.
Just have like Extreme Rules where Hell in a Cell matches and all that could be there and everything.
Yeah. Right.
And then like, WWE just needs to get out of Hell in a Cell in general.
Yeah, but to stay on task though, Jimmy, I mean, is this Jay or
This is Jay.
Jay, sorry. Jay, I think he's doing good right now. This feud of Roman Reigns right now is really connecting him and getting him into the spotlight. I always thought the Usos had natural charisma, and his promo ability is just showing it. And I think he's starting to build a nice niche for himself. He's obviously separated himself from his brother, as hard as that could possibly be. He got a different haircut, and he's doing things that you just really didn't see coming in. This is all great work so far. Hopefully.
When they turned him heel, everyone's like, "Oh my god, why haven't they got them in like their old gear?" Like, we pitched the idea of this. We pitched the idea of waiting all this crap.
Yeah. Hopefully, this year that goes for him treats him nicely, and going into next year's draft, hopefully we could talk about him as a hot commodity.
Yeah, like higher up.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that's all up to creative and booking, but we'll go past that now.
Yeah. For me, like, obviously, this could establish him as a solo, obviously going against Roman currently. And obviously, we know Roman's going to win the feud, but it's going to have to be the manner that Roman puts Jay over within it. And him staying on Smackdown, obviously learning through Paul Heyman as well, will probably give him in good stead going forward if he does decide to go into the solo.
No.
This next one has had a lot of stop-starts. She started at the beginning of the year with Otis. I'm on about Mandy Rose being traded before the draft to Raw. Now traded to Raw, and she officially is on Raw.
Yeah.
She's gone through a lot.
All I can say is wasted opportunity with Mandy Rose. You could literally have her be like, oh, who would it be back in the day? Who would it be back in the day? Like the eye candy, but can still wrestle. Yeah. I would probably say Trish Stratus. That's the only one that's coming to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, like eye candy, but can still actually wrestle properly in the ring and fully understand that. Yeah, I'm eye candy, but guess what? I can still wrestle.
Yeah, I've had so many.
Want you to go look at my bosoms. Look at my boobs.
Yeah, I've had so many gimmick ideas with Mandy Rose, and it's just like, I'm not gonna say them because I don't need them stealing my ideas again.
I think we've had a few of these conversations. I think.
Yeah, there's only one way to really go to kickstart that next level in Mandy Rose's career. Right now, I like the fact that she's teaming up with Dana Brooke because it seems like a natural team up right now.
That's not no. I haven't kept up with Mandy Rose at all.
Yeah.
I saw a glimpse of it last night, and I was like, you know what, this works. They both, they got the same look, so to speak, and they both have the same goals and aspirations. They both like to really work out. They're fitness crazy models, and it works for the time right now. But I got so many ideas with Mandy Rose. It's just like, man. I mean, I'm telling you, man.
Most of the ideas that wrestlers pitch is like Vince is just like, oh yeah, this is not what I want for you, and I'm like, Vince, at least once can you at least let the wrestler do what he wants, do what they want.
That's not always how it works.
No, not always how it works, but it's like at least at once, just give them they give you an idea, and you're like, okay, we'll run with it.
Yeah,
okay,
but
stuff like that, we could have a whole podcast on itself.
I'm going to.
I know you're going to, but we could literally.
I got a little bit more context on what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, because obviously with your booking
discussion.
We're gonna go on to unless Ember's. Have you got anything, Ember, you want to say? So, because for me, it's a good pick. Potential. I just wanted to see Otis and
Honestly, I think that what she's doing with Dana Brooke is probably a good idea. But now, I don't want to flip flop. But what about? I know this is like a SmackDown thing, but what she had going on with Otis is like this whole thing. Like, is that done? Like, I understand you switch brands, things are like that.
Yeah,
he's on Raw. It probably is like, yeah, that whole thing with Otis was the thing.
That came out of nothing. That came out of nothing.
Guys. But they hyped it up so much, and then now that she switched brands, it's kind of hard to keep that up.
Yeah.
So it's just what are they gonna do?
It'll probably be like a thing you're just down the line. It's like, you remember that thing where Otis and Mandy had a thing for a bit? Remember that? No one?
Okay. Same thing.
Yeah, it'll probably be like that. Like in a few years, Mandy will probably be like a star or something. Just hypothetically speaking. Mandy will be like a star in a few years, and then always either retired or still wrestles. And then it'll be like, oh yeah, you remember that always thing? And then people in the back go, what always thing?
Anyway, as much as I'd love to talk and continue, obviously, we've got the next one, which is The Mysterio family, Dominic and Ray, are following Seth to Smackdown.
Oh, we're keeping this going.
Apparently, it's keeping going.
Oh, hell yeah. Honestly, people have their thoughts on Dominic. I'm okay with him wrestling, but I'm like, really, they had to involve him in a storyline, and then they had to do they pulled the Eddie Guerrero thing, and I was like, oh, please don't say Dominic ain't Ray's kid again. I was like, please don't, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Okay, if you have your kids joining, but like, I really don't think that forcing this or starting this would be okay. I understand. But it's just like, you know, he's not bad, but it's just like, I get it, you're Rey Mysterio's kid, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have everything to go in there.
Dominic's first ever appearance on WWE TV was for that whole ladder match at SummerSlam for the custody of him.
Custody in the bank.
Yeah, I know, but he was a kid. That doesn't necessarily mean he has what it takes to be a wrestler.
No, he is physically said it. I don't remember.
Doesn't mean he should be. Doesn't mean he should be.
Interviews that storyline made him uncomfortable.
Just because you have a family member that wrestles, doesn't mean everybody in your family is fit or able to do it.
I'm gonna say, like, I like Dominic's, like, I don't mind Dominic wrestling, but I'm like, seriously, you had to bring him in to battle for his dad. I'm like, okay, I get that you wanted to make Seth look like a major asshole, but
I mean, it's okay, but maybe not WWE.
it's like, okay, but I'm like, seriously, you didn't have to get your kid who's just like breaking into the business. I'm honestly saying, right, this could probably make Dominic a little bit better as if he goes to NXT for a bit.
Eventually, could be something in the future.
Yeah, and then he can pop back up somewhere in the future. That makes it way better.
But obviously, we know there's something going on. For me, Ray's in effect coming home. Obviously, he was a staple of SmackDown during the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah, the Smackdown set.
On the SmackDown end. So for him, it's like a homecoming for him. And bringing his son, whether we all agree he should be there or not. Is obviously, in a way, Dominic's coming home as well. Since he first was shown on SmackDown. You got anything you want to say, Chris?
No, save it for later.
For there, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get a podcast where Chris is just like, you're gonna go ham on everything.
Oh, trust me, I can't wait to host that. But anyway,
totally.
next one is
before, so he knows what's to come.
next one is Miz and Morrison. Hey, bye bye SmackDown, hello Raw. And the funny thing is, I actually used that.
There's gonna be some build up for a feud between these two.
They're so edged, they're so looking. Because when they originally split up back in the day, it's because they were separated from brands. They were separated brands, and they never had a feud or anything like that. I'm waiting for it. I'm still waiting for the WWE. You look like
they're gonna build it up. They're gonna build it up here on Raw. I can see they're gonna build it up, and they're gonna feud.
I can see it as the Miz being like, oh yeah, I don't need you anymore. I just used you. I could see it as well.
It's gonna be Morrison turning on Miz. It's gonna be Morrison turning on Miz.
Oh, I could see that. And Morrison
because when it happened back in the draft days, back in the early 10s, it was Miz that turned on Morrison.
Can we just have Miz say he's going to do a movie or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're great together. I mean, they're good together, but they could be great apart. And WWE really needs a solid mid-carder and solid top level, or basically John Morrison could be that guy.
We need to right. Although Miz had one WWE title run, that basically had the worst match ever at WrestleMania because legitimately knocked out. Yeah, and then you continue, and then you have the whole Rock thing. I'm like, can we at least get a Miz WWE title run that actually is good? Please, WWE, just give me the Miz title run.
Yeah, it could be something you can look into. They could look into in the future, and obviously, one of the things I want to do on it would be fantasy bookings, where we actually look at how we want to do stuff like that. But we're going to go on to the final round of Smackdown now, of the TV show on Fox. But a little context before we get there. Big E had, earlier on in the night, had a match in the Falls Count Anywhere with Sheamus. Sheamus lost that to Big E. And later down in the show, Big E was getting interviewed, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods came back from their injuries. They then had a match with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura for the Smackdown tag titles, which they won. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and says the first of the final round is the then SmackDown Tag Champions Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Following that,
and Xavier was like, "Yes, Big E."
What about Big E? I'm getting to that. Within a minute later, Big E himself was drafted to SmackDown.
Oh, me and System have a lot to say.
Oh, who watched the talking Smack stuff? Cause
okay, you know what? I'm gonna say it. I understand they are the New Day. Honestly,
can we go?
Big E can do so good on his own. He looks good, like he could do so good on his. But the three of them have been together so long. It's just like, no.
Please, someone
you split them up, and it's just like, no.
Please,
this is bad.
Please tell me someone remembers his title run.
In NXT. I wasn't watching NXT back then, so I haven't watched it.
He's a second ever NXT champion, and I'm like, my god, if you ever needed someone solo-wise, look at it. I'm like, Big E can do so much better on his own, but
I'm like, why? You bring back Xavier Woods from
two people that are injured, and then
you split them up.
You're just
like no.
If you watch Talking Smack or whoever watches that, Xavier says the best thing ever. He's like, so now not only do you get New Day on Friday, you get them on Monday as well. So you get two for the price of one.
Yeah, that I noticed as well.
That's okay, but still, like the three of them, you can't see any them split up. They've been
there for like
they're like brothers.
Something like that. They were there before the brand. They were put together before the brand split.
Like a year before the brand extension actually of 2016 came together.
I'm not okay with this. Personally,
I know a lot of people are not happy with this, and I understand why they're not. But with the fact that Woods and Kofi gave...
Is he still gonna be New Day?
Yeah,
Can I just get what I was saying out, please, first? The fact that Kofi and Xavier gave Big E their blessing to do the solo run, leading up to them coming back on Friday, means that obviously Fox have seen this and said, look, we want to capitalise on this. And USA might have seen that by Fox, said, you know what, if you want to capitalise on Big E on Fox, we'll have Kofi and Woods on ours and help legitimise our Raw Tag Team division.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that we'll find out if he will stay as a New Day. Obviously, they've got a farewell match on Friday, and that's then it for them. In terms of Kofi and Xavier Woods being on SmackDown, obviously they'll be heading to Raw and obviously do a lot more on Monday nights. Obviously, this was the first tag team to be broken up of the draft, and we've got plenty more to go through. Next up is Dana Brooke going to Raw. Obviously, been tag teaming with Mandy Rose before the draft, and had a couple of good wins. Obviously, starting to build momentum on the way to potentially being a threat for the women's tag team titles. Obviously, Dana Brooke has been the enhancement talent for Charlotte. Lacey Evans, when she was facing Bayley and Sasha, making them look good. The spot that she's in is a really good spot for Dana. I would like to see at some point that she branches out on her own and actually has the run that she feels that she deserves.
She's not going around with Titus or Apollo anymore.
Not even still a thing. I am so lost on that whole like Titus.
No, it's completely gone. It's completely dead. It died. It died like 3 years ago.
The thing is done.
Yeah,
that died years ago.
Apollo's on his own, and Dana's on her own. And Titus, we haven't seen Titus.
Titus just turns up when he wants to.
Yeah, I think Titus is like always his face. Like the Hurricane back when he returned. It's just like the Hurricane pops up for a segment and goes, "Yeah, I'm the Hurricane," and then leaves.
Yeah. Next up is Otis, but we're gonna leave Otis until we get to the Talking Smack one because of what happens further down it. Because I feel it'd be better to talk about it there. And the last one on the show, the 20th draft pick for the show, is Angel Garza staying on Raw. Blue Chipper, obviously, he was part of NXT, obviously got...
I don't know much about Angel Garza, all I know is that he's being managed by Zelina Vega.
Was managed by Zelina Vega. Was.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I was. That's all I knew.
Oh, that's all. That's my Ember split up on. Got it.
Yeah. Chris, do you have anything to say about Garza? Knowing that he is the Interactive Families United States champion currently.
Potential on TV, you need to see a little bit more. I think he's a little bit quiet. Some he doesn't really get enough good promo time. Also, I kind of hate that little giving a girl a rose gimmick. It's kind of trash, and he's not going all the way with it. He's not like showing much personality out of it. He's like kind of like a creepy little stalker. He gives a girl a rose and then like walks off. And it's like you're not like actually talking to her, like engaging in a real conversation. Like there's much more work to be done with him. Like right now, I think there's a lot of half-thought ideas going on with him, and
yeah, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like they basically have the Angel Garza's like, oh, like he's good in the ring. Don't get me wrong on that one, but I feel like his gimmick is like, oh yeah, you're a good-looking dude. What should we do? We'll just get people get girls.
Well, they made him like the flirt. They're making him like the flirt. That's why they're doing what they're doing.
I know they tried to put
they
him.
probably do need to work on that a little bit. Like with the rose thing, I think they probably should drop that.
yeah, his approach is trash. It's not like Eddie Guerrero giving you know a bouquet of flowers to China back in like 2001.
That's still the best.
That's what they're trying to go for him right now. I obviously see that rip off.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
Well, they could try to give him a Eddie Guerrero-esque
gimmick.
That's what they've been trying to go for, but
It's not working though.
The worst idea that I have, but they could give him Eddie Guerrero's old gimmick. Just keep him like himself. Just tweak it a little bit. Just tweak it a little bit.
You gotta have off the wall charisma for that, and I don't think Babyface here has what it takes. Just being honest.
Yeah, like I know when he first came up was because Andrade wasn't available.
It was just an idea.
No, I'm not cutting you down. I'm just saying, like, I think it's there, but not right now, though.
Yeah, he has some work to do. Maybe after they work on him, maybe they can try it.
I feel like they could use like parts of Eddie Guerrero's gimmick. Look at when they did it. They tried the stuff with like Sasha. Sasha did the thing, basically paying tribute, and then did the few things of, oh look, I've been hit with a chair. Oh no.
Yeah, he's got to build a little bit more muscle to do it too.
Yeah, he's got to. Yeah.
He's kind of got like that model kind of like catalog.
Oh,
body.
he's kind of like, oh, what's his face? Rick something back there. There's a guy who did. There's the guy Rick. Oh, Rick Martel.
Body Martel.
Yeah, that's the one. He had the model game back in the day. I'm like, just
Because if they don't fix him, they might just drop him.
I'm just like, please give Angel Gaza that gimmick, please. I'm just like, that'd be hilarious. It's like,
Well, before he gets a gimmick change, I think he needs some work.
Yeah, I think they should show him back to NXT.
That would be a good idea, because he was brought up because Andrade couldn't do stuff. That's why he was originally brought up before Mania.
That's because they don't have any idea what they're doing with Andrade.
That's true.
Just saying. They seem
So-
like they have like an idea in store, and then it's like, this ain't working. And then they try this idea, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't working. They can't find anything good for Andrade, so they had to bring up Angel Gaza, and they're like, you guys are going to try and make this work. Because if you don't care.
So, as of this point on Friday night, this was the end of the draft, I thought, oh, that was it. That was completely it. And then come home from doing the stuff in town, I go on WWE.com, think, you know what, I watched Talking Smack. And it turned out they were doing a supplement draft, so I thought, okay. And then we'll just quickly run through these, as I really want to go through one of them, two of them only. I'm just going to go through it. So, Humberto stays on Raw.
Good choice.
Murphy moves to SmackDown following Seth. Drew Gulak is now on Raw. He said, it's time to listen to Across the Nation every Monday night. That was a nice little homage to the Ruthless Aggression WWE Raw. Kalisto, the second stable to be, the third stable to be broken up, as the other two, Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado, at this time, we're not part of it. We're still undrafted. Next up, and the last one, and I really like the way Sami Zayn.
They broke up Heavy Machinery? No!
Yes, they broke up Heavy Machinery.
No! Tucky! No, Tucky and Otis are the best! They were the best!
In a while.
The reaction says it all.
No!
No!
See, this is not how
This makes even.
I'm so mad.
I was watching this, and the reaction of Sami Zayn when this came through.
I need to see
that. Is heelish at the best of things. Both of them together said, "Look, we've got to make the best out of it. We've been brothers for so long. It's time to just get on with it now."
No.
And
I'm gonna say, right, this is honestly an honest opinion here. Tucker wouldn't. I'm gonna say Tucker isn't good as a solo wrestler. I feel like he needs Otis there to make him look good, because I feel like Tucker's one of them people that
they're trying to push him on his own. No,
and it's just wrong. But I feel like Tucker's one of them wrestlers that needs his tag team partner there to make him look good, because he's not that good in the ring.
Yeah, that's my feeling with that. Like, obviously, when I heard it at the time, I was legit pissed off of it. Let me try and find up first. There we go. Like, when Otis was drafted, I thought, oh god, they're gonna split him up here. And obviously, when we got to Talking Smack,
no, this is bad. They need each other. Like, they're really good.
It works well together.
Well, they're making them solos now.
Obviously,
I'm saying that could work kind of in his favor than that.
Maybe for Otis, but I don't know about Tucky. I've never seen him like by himself.
Yeah.
Like I've only seen one solos match of his, and I'm like, oh god, he needs his tag partner.
That's a solo match, but he was still with Otis. You can see him, but Otis is still like there.
So the people who were remaining after night one was Great Metalik and Lindsay Dorado, Shorty G, or as Chris likes to call him, Shorty Geek.
He's just
Changed the name. They kept the G because of Gable.
Yes.
yeah. They should
Because he switched brands, so
And
they
yeah.
he needed a gimmick change, so they when he was done with when he was
they gave him one about like how short he is.
yeah, that was
after
Corbin, wasn't it? Yeah.
him and Shelton Benderman were not a tag team anymore, they decided, hey, you're not Chad Gable anymore, you're Shorty G. Which is not bad, and they already kind of gave him a push, but I think he needs like a little bit more of a push.
I think he needs to go back to being Gable because God, Shorty G.
Yeah,
The one.
I liked his name, Chad Gable. I
I
liked
don't
his
got a
name.
problem with Chad Gable. He could just keep his he don't got to keep that Shorty G gimmick, but on the main roster, if he wants to be a Kurt Angle clone, I'm cool with it. As long as they go all the way through with it.
As long as he doesn't basically get the chance of you suck, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, for me personally, like obviously, you've also got Mickey James, a veteran, also as of that time. There was purge draft picks made as well, but we'll get before Raw happened, which I'll go through at the end. But as of the end of Talking Smack, Mickey James, Lucha House Party, meaning Great Metalik, Lisa Diordo, and sort of G were not drafted. Thank you all for watching Pot Talks Podcast, part 1 of night 1 of the WWE 2020 draft. We'll see you in part 2, which will come back later tonight. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Ciao.